But number 6, this is where it gets tough. Something I've noticed is that the companies who really feel strongly about being sustainable and really want to prove it are starting to cut the non-green parts out of the business. So it's not just about starting green ventures like putting solar panels on the roof or a wind turbine up. It's about stopping doing the bad stuff. I suppose a good example would be General Motors when they went into administration a couple of years ago. And the main reason why they went into administration was they were sticking to the big gas-guzzling SUVs, including the Hummer, when the populations, particularly in America, were getting worried about oil prices and starting to look for more fuel-efficient cars. GM didn't do that, got themselves into trouble. Toyota overtakes them as the biggest car manufacturer in the world. When they relaunched after they came out of administration, one of the first things they did, they started they'd cancelled before their electric vehicle project, so they got that up and running again, and they sold off the Hummer brand because they didn't want to be associated with it at all. Here in the UK, a couple of years ago, B&Q did a similar thing. B&Q, because we do some international people on the call, it's a big home improvement store, and you can see in the picture here, they sell things like recycled plastic loft insulation, so they do give people green options for their houses. But in vogue at the time was patio heaters, and B&Q decided they weren't going to sell them. And this caused a huge kerfuffle because everybody liked patio heaters. There's a whole thing starting to heat outside, and if it was a bit cold, you stuck on the patio heater and it heated the entire universe at a huge carbon footprint. And B&Q's just said, right, if we're serious about being green, we're not selling them. And it as I said, hit the press. I was on the radio being interviewed about it, much to my amusement. But it really did hit the news lines and give them this extra kudos as well. Of we're so green, we won't sell something that's profitable if we think it's wrong for us. Interface Floor have also deleted the products they make if they don't progress towards Mission Zero. And they're really quite gung-ho about that. They see it as a badge of pride. And in this case, Nigel mentions products with certain flame retardants because they have a zero tolerance now for persistent organic chemicals, and they didn't want to perpetuate that problem, so they just cancelled the project. Cancelled the products off their line. So that's when it starts to get tough and away from this sort of tree huggy. Oh yes, let's all hold hands and commune about how we're going to save the planet. It was about now really tough business decisions. Right, the last of our habits then. Learn by doing and be resilient. The words learn by doing were spoken to me by Toon Bossut, if I pronounce it right, who's a Belgian paint manufacturer. He runs a family company, Boss Paints. And on the right is a picture I took on the roof of their factory, getting on for 2 years ago, with, if it was a properly wide-angle lens, you'd see 1,477 solar panels up there. But they started off really small and have just kept building it up. They put 64 solar panels up there, got used to it, and then decided to invest in more. And they're doing all sorts of little innovative things, but they don't ever bog themselves down with lots of data and all the rest of it. They just make quite snap decisions, try it out. If it works for them, they do more of it. So learn by doing, very action-oriented, and they don't suffer from what's called paralysis by analysis. In terms of resilient, the chap here behind the wheel of the vehicle is Glenn Bennett of EAE Limited, who are a logistics company, quite a small one. They've got about 43 employees, and they distribute leaflets to tourist information centres and things like that around Scotland. And they started off, again, small things, recycling, waste minimization, started to put trackers in their vehicles, things like that. And then they decided to put up wind turbine, a 6 kilowatt wind turbine, on their at their depot. And that took them 2 years, battling with 22 different organizations. They had to get a local authority planner sacked because he was illegally trying to block this wind turbine going up. And then as soon as they actually got it up, they got a letter through the door saying, we want to increase your business rates because you've improved your site. So Glenn then had to go on another campaign in the press to get this taken away, this penalty for doing the right thing. But now, he's keeping on going, and he's got an electric van, which the wind turbine charges up overnight to do the local deliveries, and they're starting to put biodiesel into their distant deliveries, and they're really pushing this forward. And going back to the bit at the start about the business case and Go Green Save Monies for amateurs, when he was bidding for a recent contract, he won it, and the feedback was it was really tight on quality and price and all the rest of it. It's quite a competitive market. But on the green procurement side, everybody else put in a copy of their environmental policy. You put in a picture of the wind turbine. So it's an example of what I was talking about before, going from we will do stuff, we commit to doing stuff, to we have done it, and we've done it on quite a grand scale. So learn by doing, and be resilient, and really understand those benefits. Going back to the resilience, Martin Blake of Royal Mail gave me a whole raft of examples where they'd had a lot of difficulty, some of which I couldn't actually write because they could be libelous. But he said, don't take no for an answer, and don't ever give up. And I find this all the time. People quite often tell you that things are not impossible when they actually are, because they just can't be bothered getting their brain in gear to see if they could actually do something. And he suggests you just got to get in there and shake it up a bit and make things happen. Nigel from Interface Floor again, start your journey, but don't be put off. You'll go down dead ends and find many obstacles, but stick with it. Stickability is the key. Right, so I said I'd speak for 40 minutes. I'm almost there. Just to summarize, green executives understand the business case. They demonstrate commitment. They integrate. They stretch themselves. They make it everybody's responsibility, but they're prepared to wield the axe on stuff that's not green, and they learn by doing, and they do that with resilience. So before I open up for questions, the Green Executive, it should be on sale from today. That's why I'm giving the webinars. If you want 20% off the cover price, if you follow that link that's up on the screen now, or if you go to the EarthScan website and search for it, you can use the voucher code AF20 and get 20% off.